This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by North Shore Community College. If you have the will to attend college, we have the way for you to earn your degree.
Good morning. I'm Dani Vittori, and this is LCTV News. This week on the Lynn Lowdown, we have the director and founder of Galleries at LynnArts, as well as a new board member. In the news, ARPA distribution took place, several events were hosted by LCTV, and the playoff season began for fall sports. Here's the news for Friday, November 11th, 2022. The City of Lynn is distributing $21.9 million for over 40 projects in the second round of ARPA funding. Including the previous round, more than $73 million was distributed to various organizations and projects. $10.7 million was given to increased housing opportunities, including $5.5 million to the community housing plan proposed by ECCO, Neighbor to Neighbor, and Lynn United for Change. The Lynn Community Health Center will also be receiving $3 million for expansion, with the Lynn Water and Sewer Commission being awarded $3.9 million for street and infrastructure improvements. These funds have allowed the city to make historic investments in workplace development, food security, and housing, to name a few. Some of the money has also been kept in a reserve fund for contingency, with the goal of the ARPA funds being to target both urgent and long-term goals for the city to see a positive impact on the lives of those in Lynn. Demolition work on the Lynn commuter rail station began last Sunday, November 6th, and crews will be working 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Due to the work and equipment, lights and a moderate amount of noise should be expected in the surrounding area. The work is expected to last for a minimum of 4 weeks. To learn more about the demolition, go to mbta.com/LynnStation. And to read the full press release in both English and Spanish, visit our website, lynntv.org. A $3.79 billion relief package was passed by the state legislature and would provide $2.25 million in relief to Lynn if approved by Governor Baker. This money would be used for the Lynn Woods, the ferry system, and expanding elder services, to name a few. The $400,000 going to Lynn Woods would allow them to plant a rose garden, as well as other projects they were unable to get financed in the first round of ARPA funding. $1 million is going to the ferry project, $250,000 to the Greater Lynn Senior Services Elder Stabilization Program, $200,000 for the Lynn Auditorium, and $100,000 to the New Lynn Coalition's Grocery Delivery Program. When the entire relief bill is broken down, $409.5 million is going towards supporting affordable housing, with another $50 million going into developing housing in underserved communities. GE Veterans Network volunteered at the New England Center and Home for Veterans on November 3rd. After their GEV summit, they spent several hours cleaning, organizing, and renovating the donation area at the center. They also built shelves for use in the area. Founded back in 1989, the New England Center and Home for Veterans is a leader recognized nationally in their work serving veterans. They provide a range of programs to help those who served find employment and live an independent life, to name a few. On the morning of Tuesday the 8th, a 2-alarm house fire took the life of a 3-year-old Lynn resident, Andrea Diaz. More than a dozen Lynners lost their home in the fire, and several were taken to the hospital as a precaution. The fire did not appear suspicious in nature, but the exact cause is still being investigated by the Lynn Fire Department, Lynn Police Department, and State Police. The Red Cross, Salvation Army, and City of Lynn are providing aid to the displaced families. There were also no working smoke alarms in the home. In a press conference, State Fire Marshal Ostrotsky urged all residents to be sure they have functioning smoke alarms in their home. A GoFundMe page has also been set up by a member of Diaz's family to help them in this difficult time. As stated by Mayor Gerald Nicholson, we extend our deepest condolences to the family as they deal with this unthinkable loss, and we wish those affected a speedy and full recovery. Mass Development awarded $1.97 million to 39 organizations in 23 communities as part of the Collaborative Workspace program. Since it began in 2014, they have distributed over $10.9 million in 192 awards. Many of these awards have been used for innovation spaces in gateway cities, including Lynn. They are part of a larger program, the Community One Step for Growth, which has distributed $143 million in grants to 337 organizations in 169 communities. 2 Lynn-based organizations received Collaborative Workspace Program Awards, the Brickyard Collaboration and Centerboard Inc. Brickyard Collaborative is using the grant to expand a new location to increase their existing space from 4,600 square feet to just over 10,000. They will also be adding HVAC, plumbing, and electrical to help the shops, classrooms, and studios they have. Centerboard will be using the money to create a community kitchen, which will include not just a kitchen, but catering and a shadow kitchen to help at-risk youth learn important skills in the food service industry. Tuesday the 8th was the general election, and the results are in. Attorney General Maura Healey was elected governor, with Salem Mayor Kimberly Driscoll becoming the lieutenant governor. Healey now becomes the state's first elected female and openly gay governor. Democrat Andrea Campbell defeated Republican Jay Mahone to fill the Attorney General position being vacated by Healey. Democrat Diane DiZoglio won the state auditor position, defeating Republican Anthony Amore, while William Gavin and Deborah Goldberg were re-elected as Secretary of State and Treasurer. Lynn voted in similar fashion to the rest of the state, selecting the same people as governor, lieutenant governor, attorney general, secretary of state, treasurer, and auditor. Representative Seth Moulton and State Senator Brendan Creighton retained their seats in Congress and the Senate, with Lynn Representatives Dan Cahill and Peter Capano also getting re-elected, and State Rep-elect Jenny Armini claiming the 8th Essex District seat. Monday the 7th, LCTV hosted a TDI event. Lynn is one of 13 gateway cities participating in a 3-year Transformative Development Initiative, or TDI, through Mass Development. There was food, discussion, and many members of the TDI Fellowship were in attendance. Take a look.
Today we are working with Mass Development's TDI Development District of Union Street to get feedback from the local businesses to find out really what the local economy is about, what it needs, what they'd like to see, how they've been feeling as things transform and change, and really tap into that community input to be able to help the TDI fellow, Tristan, figure out what the plan is for the next few years and how we're going to support our downtown. Our community is changing drastically over the last few years, and if we don't find out exactly what these businesses need and who needs help and how we can best support them, they're threatened to be displaced, which is the opposite of what we want to do as we grow. We're super excited. Creative Collective has collaborated with some of these businesses over the last few years, so we love working with them. We have Dampanadas came and brought some food. We have some food coming from / Jaguar here on Union Street. My Guatemala Bakery next door is always delicious, and then I'm really excited for the Tres Leche. And this is a new one for me, so I was really excited because it's a town favorite, is Fomenki gave us some appetizers. So I'm really happy to be working with all our TDI partners that have been able to show up, especially for this quick win. LCTV really came through with the space and the setup. It is so easy to have an event in this space, and there's so many things that we can utilize. And having Carolina Trujillo from Citizens Inn, who's also a resident and worked with La Voz. Michelle La Poetica is our hostess tonight, and she is definitely always the hostess with the mostest. I mean, if you've seen her in action, you know. The City of Lynn, and obviously John at Creative Collective really helped me nail everything down so we could get this together.
On Wednesday, the 9th, there was an ARPA meeting held at the City Hall Auditorium. A plan for distributing the second round of ARPA funding was discussed, as well as audience questions. Here is a clip from the meeting.
So we're happy to get this underway and happy to talk about phase 2. So during the immediate investment for ARPA, the city addressed a lot of critical needs when they first received this funding, and they included 13.5 in municipal-owned and public buildings for the HVAC system upgrades to combat the pandemic. 500 COVID anti-aging kits were purchased. Sorry, 500,000. $3 million was provided to the Economic Development Group for small business grants as well as for nonprofits. 800,000 was invested in citywide translation services, and we have those translation services here tonight for whoever needs them. So in phase 1, the city wanted a very robust community outreach program. I know that I've walked the city, I've talked to people, people were sick of seeing me after a while, so I had to disappear for a minute and then pop back in.
To see the full meeting, go to LynnTV.org. And now, the sports update. During a press conference on Wednesday, November 9th, 4 St. Mary's athletes signed national letters of intent to play collegiate athletics. The scholarships they will be receiving have a worth of more than $1 million collectively. 3 members of the girls' basketball team and 1 girls' hockey player signed their letters and officially committed to colleges. Nia Morgan of Swampscott will play basketball for Division II Bentley University. Of her 2 teammates, Keelan Prera from Peabody is going to Division I Monmouth University in New Jersey, and Yirsa Quelitz of Boston accepted a full basketball scholarship to play for Northeastern University. Hockey player Jenna Chaplin from Worcester is headed to Assumption College, who is adding a Division I hockey program beginning next year. The 4 girls also have a combined GPA of 3.85. Congratulations to all the athletes on this impressive accomplishment. Several Lynn teams have moved to postseason play. The Lynn Classical football team lost to the undefeated Andover Golden Warriors 42-6 in the first round of the MIAA Division I playoffs. The 3rd-seeded Spartans knocked off 14th-seeded Archbishop Williams 37-13 last Friday. It was the 2nd time in 7 days that St. Mary's beat Williams. They will now advance to the Elite 8. Running back Dave Brown continued his dominance from last week, scoring 3 more touchdowns, including a 71-yard score. The football team will now host the 6-3 Linfield Pioneers at Manning Field Friday, November 11th. The 31st-seeded boys soccer team had a dramatic 1-0 victory on penalty kicks over 34th-ranked Auburn, with Dylan Maroney scoring the game winner for the Spartans. They will now travel to Dedham for the round of 32. Kip Academy boys soccer won their first tournament game 6-1 over Rockport at home on Tuesday night. The volleyball team won their first playoff game 3-2 as the away team versed Sturgis East on the 3rd. They then lost in the round of 32 to East Hampton 3-1 on the 4th. The Patriots are now over 500 for the first time this season, following a 26-3 victory over the Indianapolis Colts, which puts them at 5-4. It was a defensive battle, with neither team able to generate much offense. Between the two teams, they only gained 19 first downs and had 16 total punts. The Pats defense sacked Colts quarterback Sam Ehlinger 9 times, including 3 apiece by Josh Uche and Matthew Judon. On both special teams and defense, Jonathan Jones shined, blocking a punt to set the Patriots up on their own 5 before QB Mac Jones threw to Ramondre Stevenson for the touchdown. Jones then had a pick 6 in the 4th quarter. Kicker Nick Folk once again had a strong showing, hitting all 4 of his field goal attempts. The Pats now have their bye week before hosting the Jets on November 20th at 1 p.m. The Boston Celtics defeated the New York Knicks 133-118 on Saturday the 5th, and the Memphis Grizzlies 109-106 on the 7th, giving them a 7-3 record. Jason Tatum had a big night against the Grizzlies, scoring 39 points with 3 rebounds and 2 assists. Guard Marcus Smart also had an impressive night with 12 assists and 15 points in 36 minutes of play. On the 9th, versus the Detroit Pistons, forward Sam Hauser shined on offense with 24 points, going 6 for 12 on 3-pointers. Jaylen Brown was another star on the offense, notching 30 points with 7 rebounds and 3 assists. The Celtics won the game 128-112 to improve to 8-3 and extend their win streak to 3 in a row. Former Bruins forward Peter McNabb has passed away at the age of 70. He played 8 seasons for the Bees from 1976 to 84. During the 76 season, he had a career-high 86 points in the form of 38 goals and 48 assists. McNabb was also named to the 76 All-Star Game and led the Bruins to the Stanley Cup Finals. For the 2022 season, the Bruins' 7-game winning streak was snapped when they lost 2-1 to the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Bees then bounced back with a 3-1 victory against the St. Louis Blues on the 7th and a 3-1 win over the Calgary Flames on the 9th. Against the Blues, Patrice Bergeron, Jake DeBrusk, and Trent Frederick notched goals for Boston, with Linus Ullmark recording 25 saves on the night. Against Calgary, Connor Clifton found the back of the net on a rebound off Flames goaltender Daniel Vladar. Charlie McAvoy snuck the puck into the corner of the net through traffic, and David Pastrnak had an empty netter at the end of the 3rd period to secure the victory. This week on the Lynn Lowdown, we had Annette Sykes and Caitlyn Yvonne of GALA, Galleries at LynnArts. They discussed upcoming events, as well as the role of arts in the community. Here is the Lowdown. Good morning and welcome back to another edition of the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Dani Vittori, and today we have 2 people from GALA, Galleries at LynnArts. We have Annette Sykes, the gallery director and founder, and Caitlyn Yvonne. Is that how you say it? Yes. Happy to have you, the new board member, or the newest board member at GALA. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So I will ask you, Annette, as the founder, how did GALA come about? Like, what was the idea?
So almost exactly 4 years ago, a group of artists got together and decided to take GALA into the nonprofit realm. And GALA was, the LynnArts gallery was about to close, and the Lynn Museum couldn't take it any further, and they came to me and asked if I would be interested. I thought, gee, I don't know if I can do this. And a bunch of artists got together and said, well, let's do it together. And so here we are 4 years later.
Yep. I love that, because arts, they are the really an important thing. And I'll ask you, Caitlyn, as the newest board member, how did you first get involved?
Tia Cole made me make art.
Okay.
She made me make art. She made me bring it into the gallery for the Spring Fling show. Somehow in that first show, I got dragged into doing the raffle for that. I had no idea what was going on. And then it just kind of snowballed from there. And I've been with them ever since. And that was one of the very first shows. And 2020 kind of was a little rocky, but once I moved back to Lynn, I dove headfirst into the open studios for last year. I was just a week before, I was like, Annette, is there still room? I'm jumping in. And it was my very first table show. And then after that, I was like, okay, we're home now.
Sweet. Well, I love that. I love the just jump in and do it attitude.
Just dove right in.
Yeah, just go for it. And you have a lot of things happening at the gallery right now. One thing that you mentioned was the Downtown Open Studios, which is the 19th. Yes?
The 19th is the Downtown Open Studios from 10 until 5. We're still looking for artists for that, so if you're interested, please give me a call. I can also say that we have a trolley for that day, and so that links us with the Lydia Pinkham building. They also have a ton of artists, and the Clay School is over there, and so for that day, we're linked together, and that trolley goes from 11:30 until 6 o'clock, so you're not going to be stranded. The trolley takes you all the way around, and it will take you back to your car at the end of the day. And then on the Sunday, the downtown does not participate, but the Lydia Pinkham, if you still need to do some shopping, they do have hours on that day as well.
And I know we can park, there's parking at Lynn English High School for free, and that's a 2-minute walk from the school to Lydia Pinkham, so you don't have to worry about parking on the side of the road.
That's definitely good, because I know street parking can be very hit or miss.
Yeah.
In both locations.
Yeah, right, because you're on Exchange Street, so you got street parking too.
So park at English, take the trolley.
So as the board member, what would you do for an event like this? Are you participating? Or?
I am participating. I will have a table at the gallery. I'm not sure which room in the gallery, but I will have my own table with my own work on it. I'll probably be doing some work during that as well. And then that's what I'm doing.
And we will have the members show up on the walls.
Yes.
We're having the art fair in the main gallery, the small gallery, and even going into the Black Box Theater.
Wow.
The gallery shop will be open, and my studio will be open, as well as a whole bunch of studios throughout the entire building.
So you're opening everything, and for your member show, you said you have 45 artists and 119 pieces of art. That's a lot.
Exactly.
That is a lot of art.
Yeah, and that show actually opens this Friday, and like our normal openings, we are back in full force.
Yes.
During the pandemic, we had to kind of cut back and not have some of the bells and whistles.
The sharing table with all the food and snacks, the open bar.
Exactly.
And this time around, entertainment, yes. And this time around, I'm taking over the bar this year, and there's so many people that are trying to be sober, but want options to drink a pretty drink that's not a juice box. So every show I'm offering some kind of special themed drink that's non-alcoholic for that. So
I love that idea, because you're right. Sometimes people
want to be fancy.
They want something that looks fancy.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can go for the fancy.
And some of the entertainment that we usually have music. Joe Scahan is
Yep.
bringing a couple of his friends this time.
Isn't it like a
What is it
boogie
called?
funk?
Boogie Bros?
Boogie Bros.
Boogie Bros, yep.
Yes. And
They're
so
a lot of fun.
they'll do a few sets, and then we have a young writer, Ellery Sanchez the second, is going to do a reading based on a photograph that he has submitted to the show. I don't know how old he is. He's young, middle school?
I think he's middle school.
Middle school.
Oh, wow. I was
Yeah,
thinking
but-
he was
Like
a little
18
older.
or 22?
Yeah.
No.
He's on the younger end.
Yeah, and he and his father submit to almost all of the shows. Can I say all of the shows? I think I
I
can say
think
all of the shows.
I think so.
They're a father-son photography team, and they just go out,
On these adventures,
And-
find these beautiful places.
and they have photography just everywhere.
That is so cool. I mean, that sounds like such a fun thing. And so you pull out all the stops for this, and then for the reception and the exhibit that will be opening, how long does it stay up? Like, how long could people come and see it for?
This one is a
This
6-week.
This one ends in December, mid-December.
Mm-hmm.
Normally they're like bi-monthly, right?
6 to 8 weeks is generally as long as the show lasts. This time, I think the pickup date is the 17th. So what is that? That's a 6-week show.
Yeah.
So people have a good amount of time to come see it, check it
Exactly.
out.
And then everything will also be available to look at online.
Oh, great.
So if you can't make it out for whatever reason, if it's you don't want to drive to Lynn, you can also just look it up on the website.
And you can purchase things
You
online.
can purchase things online
I was,
as well.
I was
half
gonna
your
ask.
purchases are online usually, and
Yeah.
and then we go ahead, and if you're out in Wisconsin, for example, and you see a piece that you love, we'll just ship it to you.
Yep.
Because I was going to ask, and then if you sell a piece, if you sell things, where do the profits then go? Do they go towards the artist, the gallery? Is it a mix?
It's a mix. So for members, 75% of the sale goes back to the artist.
Great.
The other 25% does go to the gallery, and helps us keep the lights on and
Yep.
pay the rent and everything that needs to happen, to keep GALA afloat.
Yes.
And one of the last things I'll ask about is you said you're collecting, was it impressions and ideas about exhibits for next year, 2023? So how would people submit those?
So they can give us a call.
They can, call, email, Facebook, Instagram, just straight direct messaging, show up at a show.
Show up at a show, have a conversation.
Yeah.
We're going to have easels around the gallery on Friday night to, just write on a little Post-it an idea for a show or just program.
In general, how where you wish to see us going over the next year, what you want us to bring in, stuff like that.
I do. I definitely like the community engagement piece of it too. Ask what people want to see and see if you can do it. That's a great way to really connect with the community and get ingrained in it. And you also said you're always looking for new volunteers and members, so community engagement as well.
Absolutely. We are in the period of transition right now, and we have several spots on the board that have opened up, and
I snagged one of them real
new
quick.
board member, of course. And what that looks like is we invite you to come to a couple of board meetings. Yeah, like any nonprofit, you come to a few board meetings and you see if you like the vibe, if you like what's going on, and if you want to come and play our games. And honestly, it's
a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. It's a good group.
It is, yeah. And what ends up happening is I ask, what are you interested in doing? What are you interested in learning about? Do you want to do social media? Do you want to do fundraising? Would you be interested in learning how to install a show or photograph a show? Or there's
so
lots
many
to be
things.
done.
There's so many things.
And it's a great place to learn. We think of ourselves sometimes as a teaching gallery.
Yeah, I've learned so much since 4 years ago. It's ridiculous.
And I can't even imagine what would go into putting on like in open studios like this, putting on an exhibit. I can't even imagine everything that goes into it. I'm thinking of some of the stuff, but there's probably so much behind the scenes work.
It's a whole different world. I knew before I started like actually helping put them together, I was like, oh, it's just a matter of hanging pictures on a wall.
Nope.
It is not.
But there's
It's
a lot
well
more.
worth it. Well worth it, but it is a lot of work.
Well, I want to thank you again for coming in and talking about it, publicizing it, because I've been there a few times and it's a great place. I definitely want to go back and see it again.
It's a lot of fun.
It is.
And it's a great place to meet friends. It's a great place to build your own creative process. It's a great place for inspiration.
Exactly.
You know, one person starts talking about their project, and all of a sudden you have 30 different ideas, different directions in which to take your own projects.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Inspiration from other people, which I always have loved. I said thank you again for coming on. It was great to talk to both of you.
Thank you.
And once again, I'm Dani Vittori. This is the Lynn Lowdown, and we will see you next week with more guests. Now for the community calendar. Beyond the Blues musical fundraiser will have several performances at Washington Street Baptist Church. 2 tomorrow, November 12th, from 2 to 5 p.m. and 7:30 to 10:30 p.m. Then again on Sunday the 13th from 2 to 5. Also beginning that Sunday is the Lynn Tech 8th Annual Festival of Trees, which runs from the 13th to the 19th. Taking place in the Lynn Tech Annex and organized by the Lynn Vocational Technical Alumni Association, those who wish to see the trees can pay $5 to get in. Once inside, they can also purchase 25 raffle tickets for $5 to try and win trees of their choosing. All donations go to the Lynn Tech Alumni Awards. Friday the 18th is a ribbon cutting at the Loft at Stenson GLCC. The Loft is a Lynn-based job training program meant to help and empower women recovering from drug addiction. They also carry a variety of items, including women's clothes, kids' toys, men's clothes, and much more. On Monday, the 21st, LCTV is teaming up with the Concerned Citizens of Lynn to host photos with Santa and a toy drive from 5 to 8 p.m. Come get a professional photo with Santa and donate a toy to the Concerned Citizens of Lynn annual drive. In 2021, Concerned Citizens of Lynn wrapped and delivered over 4,000 gifts. For more information on the drive, email info@concernedcitizensoflynn.com. To learn more about the events listed and all events happening in the city, head to lynn.org. LynnTV.org, Dani. To learn more about the events listed and all events happening in the city, head to lynntv.org/events. That is all for this week's news. Follow us on social media @Lynn Community Television to stay up to date on all the latest happenings and events. Also, please visit our website, lynntv.org, to see the complete community calendar, news packages, and press releases. And subscribe to our YouTube channel, Lynn Community Television, to see all our videos. And a happy Veterans Day to all military members and their families. I'm Dani Vittori, this is LCTV News, and we will see you next week.